Assalamualaikum. Today we group 14 we're going to be presenting about the brake system. The brake system purpose is to convert your terrifying kinetic energy into manageable heat by using a hydraulic pressure to clamp the brake pads onto the spinning rotor. Manufacturers use a calculated mix of casting, forging, stamping, and machining to build this brake's part so it's strong enough to survive the violence of stopping a heavy speeding metal box. The history of disc brakes. Disc brakes were invented in 1902, but because metallurgy wasn't good enough, it wasn't adopted until 1953.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Wan Amirul Haziq. So in this video, I will explain about the component and analysis of our final product, which is this brake assembly. So the first one is wheel hub. The wheel hub support the wheel and the brake assembly. It transfer the driving and braking torque. The next one is brake pad braking plate, which is it support the brake friction material and transfer the braking force from the caliper to the rotor. And the next one is brake rotor. The brake rotor rotates together with the wheel. During braking, it converts the vehicle kinetic energy into heat through friction. Lastly is brake caliper. The brake caliper holds the brake pad and use hydraulic pressure to clamp the rotor during braking. As you can see here, this is material selection, dimensional, and surface specification of our component. For technical drawing, we include 3D model, front view, and side view of each component.
Geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, or GD&T, is used to ensure brake components are manufactured accurately and assembled correctly. Compared to conventional tolerancing, GD&T provides clearer design requirements and improved inspection quality. For the wheel hub, we apply position, concentricity, and perpendicularity control. For the brake pad backing plate, we use flatness, parallelism, and position. The brake rotor uses circular layout, flatness, and position to reduce vibration and ensure smooth braking. Finally, the brake caliper applies position and perpendicularity for proper alignment and piston movement. For overall, GD&T improves braking performance, safety, reliability, and component lifespan.
So today I will present about manufacturing process for each type component in this brake system. So let's start with our wheel hub. So actually the wheel hub is just hold your wheel in place, so it has to endure lots of stress. So to make it tough, we are choosing a process to manufacture it, which is called hot closed die forging, and then powered by a closed die forging press. So thing like this is a heavy duty blacksmithing. So we will start by heating a solid metal block first until it is glowing hot, and then we will use a massive press to squeeze that metal directly into a high precision mold, or maybe we can call it as a die. So once it's squeezed into shape, we will trim off the excess metal and then cool it down rapidly and harden the surface. So this will create a ultra strong wheel hub that will never fail in this system. So now let's move on to the brake pad backing plate. So this plate actually is the structural spinner for your brake system. So it will hold the friction pad that actually clamp down on your wheel. So it must be perfectly flat and precise. So among the three processes we are choosing, the fine blanking process, which using a triple action fine blanking press. So if a standard metal stamping is just like a cutter, so fine blanking will be a ultra precise version. So instead of just punching the shape out, we are tightly clamp down a sheet of steel with three different forces at once, and then we will compress it and shear it smoothly. So because of this triple action compression, so the edges of backing plate come out incredibly clean, perfectly flat, and don't have any tiny tears or crack. So next we will explain about the brake rotor. So actually they will absorb a intense amount of friction heat, so they must be made of cast iron. So to produce them efficiently, we are using a automated green sand casting, which is using a automated vertical sand molding machine. So for this process, we are create a mold using a dam and then tightly compacted and highly reusable because of green sand. And then after that, we will melt down the iron and pour the liquid directly into the sand mold. Once the metal cools and solidifies into the rotor shape, so we will shake the sand off and then clean the surface, and then it will run off the final quality inspection. So this will be a incredibly fast automated way to create a complex heavy duty part for a brake rotor. So finally, let's look at the brake caliper. So the caliper act like a clamp squeezing the brake pads against the rotor. So because it houses a hydraulic fluid, so it cannot have any air bubbles inside it, or otherwise it will be cracked. So to prevent this, we are using a cutting edge technique which is called semi-solid metal casting, and then using a raw casting slurry preparation unit. So instead of just pouring a super hot liquid metal, so we will cool it slightly until it becomes a thick toothpaste like that we will call it as a slurry. So we will inject this semi-solid slurry into the mold because it is thick and flows smoothly without splashing. So it will prevent the air bubbles forming. So this will make the final caliper quite strong and highly reliable and much more lighter.
Our brake system promotes sustainability in four aspects. The first is environmental. Recyclable material and energy efficient manufacturing reduce waste and carbon emission. The second one is economical. GD&T minimize defect, lower production costs, and extend the lifespan of brake components. The third one is social. Accurate component assembly improve braking performance, vehicle safety, and worker safety during manufacturing. Finally, throughout the product lifecycle, durable and recyclable material reduce resource consumption and support a more sustainable automotive industry.
We highlighted the entire manufacturing lifecycle of disc brake, showing that everything from material and casting process was necessary.